There we go. Alright, so for those of you guys that were actually here when unfortunately we had a couple of guys back, one guy I should say back out for time reasons for some reason, I don't fully understand that one, but I'm not going to keep harping on it. Not here to harp on people. But, you know, anyway, so I started talking a little bit about Golgotha, and you can see here, there are 6 requisition points. Now, this is not the old version of the map that only had 5 requisition points, and that seemed to leave one out for no particular reason. Not the particular, but in particular we're concerned with the one right here, between kind of a little bit of this triangle sort of thingy with these victory points and that power. Because this one was just kind of here, and was just this extra plus 20 requisition for one side. Once it was mature, of course, and Relic finally got around, they fixed it, and the map plays quite a fair bit better now. So it is still a fairly asymmetric map, but I guess the nice thing is if you like asymmetric maps and you like playing them semi-competitively, at least, it is a little bit more so that now. As you can see, it has these are your sort of main powers back here: natural power, natural power. These are probably primary contested power, but depends on how much middle play both sides you're doing. It is one of those maps where it tends to be a little not totally power starved, but because you don't have 2 natural powers or 2 main powers. Like for example, the Calderas Refinery, the one side gets 2 powers that are pretty defensible. Midian Cliff Mines, each player gets 1 power. It's pretty defensible. Hydrus, both players get power. It's relatively defensible. Same thing even for Argus Desert Gate. Technically, most 2v2 maps you'll get two powers you can kind of defend pretty effectively. But go with if you're playing it by sort of default lanes, it can be very tough to do that with. So unless you can really establish primacy in a given area, and maybe even at the cost of seeding it somewhere else, you do have a bit of a problem holding on to more than just 1 power and maybe a node or something like that. So, all of that said, Totally spawning here in the left, we've got Shalesy in the bottom sporting his Chaos Lord now. We've got Nank76 in the right, and X Slayer in the top here with his Chaos Lord, and actually sporting that that new Roll Leader scheme. So we're you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, actually I think both of them are. Oh gosh, they both are. This is going to be fun. Well then, good thing they're on opposite sides of the map. Am I right? Exactly, I am right. So immediately we see a pretty standard cap order here for Toilet, pushing his Lord General forth is more durable, the 2 units there, so not that big of an issue. And then actually it looks like maybe a little bit of pink editing here from Shalesy to go ahead and make that scheme a little bit different, which may actually make this a little bit nicer for us to tell them apart, I think. Don't quote me on any of that, guys, at all. As far as builds, we see Triple Guardian coming in here from Nank, which is going to be interesting. And meanwhile, we've got a Sentinel and Lord General going up here against this Chaos Lord there. Now, Golgotha does have quite a bit of garrison, so it is rather different on that front compared to a lot of some of the other 2v2 maps we've seen so far. Hydra's had some garrisons. We saw some garrison play, but we should probably see a lot more on this. Already, though, we are seeing 1 Guardian squad coming over to help, 2 Guardian squads coming over to help, and maybe even possibly more than that. We're seeing that there's really no resistance being offered down in the bottom right side at this point, and it seems like Toilet Lee is target number 1. His Chaos Lord's pretty low on health. He is going to back out. Sentinel really low on health. Toilet Lee getting him out here just in time, and probably won't have an issue doing so either. But what may be a little more problem, those guardsmen are just in the middle of everything, and not retreating yet, though, which is kind of interesting here from Toilet Lee. He seems to feel they can continue to be useful, but now he's going to go ahead and get him out of there. May have been waiting for the Chaos Lord to get into the thick of things. So Shalesey's Chaos Lord going at it with the Farseer of Nank here. Eating quite a bit of damage, but we're seeing some Heretic support coming over from... Ooh, actually, these would be Shalesey's CSM, and now they're going to go ahead and use this garrison, but now his Chaos Lord's in a bit of a pickle here, and if these heretics retarget now, they're not going to need to. Actually, the range firepower is going to be plenty. And now these Chaos Space Marines here are buying some time on the heretics, but I don't know how long that's going to work. It should work possibly just, well, not just possibly, I want to say. It should work long enough, and it will work long enough for Toilet Lee to go ahead and get his forces out. Sentinel being pushed up very aggressively by Toilet Lee here. Even despite the huge amount of range firepower, there's a lot of confidence that we can see Toilet Lee has in his Sentinel play, and it's really allowing him to establish kind of a much stronger beachhead there. And now we're seeing a really big push up from Toilet Lee, and Shalesy much more concerted and everything else, and this could be a little bit painful for Nank and Slayer. We are seeing that one of those Chaos Space Marines in that squad will get out, just the one model though. Guardian's going to turn around and try and do some damage to these heretics. They actually do a pretty good job, and they're going to get him out of there. And now, if they had battle equipment, this would be a really dangerous retreat from Shalesy, but luckily for Shalesy, none of those Guardians have battle equipment. And this is a straight push from Toilet Lee here to the generator farm. These Guardians are going ahead plopping in, at least one of them is in a garrison here, and it looks like they're going to try and hold off against this assault. With the with Slayer right there and his Chaos Lord and forces able to come up and support immediately, not a bad idea, especially with the Shuriken coming in as well. And but here's about to come in with the Sentinel, get a nice little stomp there, and now backing away again. Very aggressive Sentinel play by the Toilet Lee, but very effective nonetheless. And we got a turret going up right in the middle of battle here, and this is going to cause some big problems for that Shuriken. It's firing right out, but now it's actually turning around firing at the heretics who are trying to stay away from everything, and meanwhile getting picked off one by one. Chaos Lord looks like it might be in a position to go down. He does get a kill the week off, but Shalesey's Chaos Lord gets killed the week off as well. Nonetheless, so the kill the week was enough for the Chaos Lord to get out. We're getting a little bit of lag here, unfortunately, but nonetheless, both teams still seem to be continuing their micro about optimally and whatever else. Knight's getting a second Shuriken kind of weapon team. We're seeing, in terms of power, Toilet Lee is almost ready to go Tier 2. Everyone else nowhere near Tier 2 at all. And that position of Toilet Lee here is going to be pretty deadly, I think, for just about everyone else on the field of this this game. And that happened because Toilet Lee is able to push up, and they took this, and Shalesy got the generators down there. And they don't have a ton of map control elsewhere necessarily, but they have it where it counts, which is on all of the middle generators. And that is what's really hurting Slayer and Nank right now, only having their natural farm. By not having anything more than the natural farm, they're really hurting there. Meanwhile, we got Havoc coming out alongside these 2X Chaos Space Marines. Going to get some damage in on the Sentinel, but not a ton there. And again, Toilet Lee's Sentinel management is going to make sure that's not really much of an issue at all. Now this multi-laser turret is going to be interesting to see how well it's going to hold out here. It's going to really help this 2 guardsmen and everything else against this. And here come the Noise Marines around for the bash. In fact, there's really nothing that's even seeing these right now other than the requisition point. We don't really see anything moving to intercept these. This is going to be absolutely devastating. Those Noise Marines are going to get in there and just fillet those generators. And there they go. And that is a process. Once it starts, ladies and gentlemen, it does not stop easily. And there is just nothing there that is able to stop that right now for Nank or Slayer. And that is going to be the end of that generator farm. The Shuriken platform is trying to get around the backside here, but not able to do so. We've got Chaos Space Marines moving around. Again, this Sentinel with 76 health, running around with reckless abandon at this point, and just getting into the thick of everything it feels it needs to or can. And finally, we actually have Guardians sitting idle here, not doing anything about these Noise Marines. Not that they'd be able to do a ton without battle equipment, but again, Havoc's just a lot of stuff here that unfortunately isn't really moving to combat that threat when it is such a significant threat to the entire generator farm. And now, economically here, we look at just plus 13 power income for Nank and Slayer when Toilet Lee is already building a Chimera in Tier 2. Shalesy is already going Tier 2. And ladies and gentlemen, this can only end one way. We're actually seeing missile launcher this game from Toilet Lee. He's not looking to suicide the Sentinel at all, and he just blows the Hurricane out of the building there. And that is exactly why he wanted those missiles. And, ooh, they are lining right on target. These Guardians are continuing to blob, though. And if they don't unblob soon, they're going to be in a world of hurt, and they are! Down they go. The Havoc's helping out a little bit, but not much there. Nank has unfortunately thrown a fair bit of his forces away there in that engagement. And he's down to just a Guardian, a Shuriken, and his Farseer. with inferior tech all the same. We are seeing here that Slayer is trying to get up here on the top left power node there to do something about that, but again, with the Chimera coming in here, this is going to be very tough. We're seeing the Chaos Lord goes down, and just large amount of guardsmen and everything here. Here comes some heretics, but again, the Sentinel standing there. Sentinel still has Stomp to use, I believe. No, it doesn't, but again, just having the Chimera there is already more than enough. And that Sentinel will have Stomp when it needs it too, is probably the bigger thing there. And again, just meanwhile, we see not much able to really run in against this force here. This Chimera supported force there, just very effectively able to sit there and just tank all that. Meanwhile, it looks like Totally was able to salvage that turret there. And meanwhile, Farseer down to 4, 2 health there on the Farseer, but she will survive. Meanwhile, a little surprised here that Heretics are not worshipping there to get these Khorne Chaos Space Marines in faster, but that seems alright, doesn't really matter at the moment. And we are seeing that the Khorne Chaos Space Marines are going to get caught up in this creeping barrage from friendly fire there. I'm not sure if lag prevented Shalesy from having those attack in, or maybe he was doing something else at the time. And by the way, really aggressive Lord General here, popping Refractor Field, trying to go up and go ahead and get Shalesy's 4 Chaos Lord up here, and it looks like he's actually able to do this because of Refractor Field. He's going to get out. Now, is the Chaos Lord going to get out? Yeah, he gets off Kill of the Week on the Heretics, who's, it seemed like they'd actually be the death of that attempt there, but it actually turns out that they were the ones that allowed that attempt to really succeed at the end. And meanwhile, we're just seeing Sentinel and Guardsmen here with Chimera backing them up. And these poor Heretics, again, rushing in here to their dooms. Stomp didn't even finish, and already they were killed there. Meanwhile, just a lot of fire pouring in on the Sentinel and the Guardsmen, but again being supported here by this Chimera, which is just really sitting back at this point. I'm not sure if that's because there's any expectation of Tier 2 units from Slayer and possible Z traffic or something, but in the meantime we do see the Sentinel go down, which is interesting. We're still seeing that even with the missile launcher upgrade, Totally seems ready to sacrifice his Sentinel whenever he needs to. But then again, they really want to stay here and get this heavy turret up. That seemed to be his primary intent there. And meanwhile, Shalesy's going Tier 3. Totally seems content to be Tier 2. He is requisition limited here at this point. Reinforcing these Guardsmen is rather expensive. So, he does have quite a bit of power. Now, not nearly enough to necessarily go Tier 3 at the moment, though. It looks like he's creeping towards it. On a pretty good balance, too, by the way. But, with all that said, definitely requisition limited to get to a lot of, other stuff. So, on the other front, looks like Nank might actually be getting closer to Tier 2. We see that Slayer is actually going Tier 2 finally. But at this point, they're getting to this point just quite a bit late, I'm going to say, unfortunately. But they're doing so, right when the map control for Toilet and Shalesy is becoming very, very solid. And they're able to deploy stuff like this heavy turret that just gets out here and is able to sit here. And, it's probably going to die soonish, but it just has wasted so much of Slayer's time and killed so much of his units just to kind of keep him locked up and prevent him to push back out in the map. And so this is going to end up 470 victory points to nothing in favor of Toilet and Shalesy. So a good game to all players involved. We'll move along to the second game of the round here. As soon as everyone loads back in, gets the replay saved, indicates they're ready. So just do a little bit of Alt-Tab here. And tell text how to access the stream. Anyway, so back, sorry about that. Looks like Toilet is still loading back in from the game, so had to wait that little bit anyway. But yeah, so I mean that match really came down to the power is just so, like I said, on Golgotha, where you don't have the two natural farms. Um, that bash with the Noise Marines was very nice by Shieldsy, but even long before then, they'd already won the power war by just taking all of the middle powers basically. And they didn't actually have a lot of map control outside of the middle power, right? Like they actually were missing a lot of the victory points at times. Were largely neutral. The requisition points a lot of times weren't in their favor, but they got the power points that they needed, and they didn't bleed too much either. So it's going to be the choice of Nank and Slayer now. What they want to go with exactly, I believe, for the next map. So as they do that really quick, I'm going to grab some soda because I can feel my throat starting to lose some of its awesome, not dryness. So I'm going to go ahead and rectify that really quickly for you guys, so that stuff like what just happened there doesn't happen again. Alrighty, your favorite neighborhood 5-star general is back, which I know is a little bit of an oxymoron in quite a few ways. But anyway, I'm back with some grape soda. I haven't had grape soda in a while, and I was at the supermarket the other day, and it was one of those things, you buy 3, get 1 free. So basically, 3 for 12. My bad, 4 for 12 instead of 3 for 12 or something. So you got to get the four packs, right? And I'm just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, oh man, all right, what do I want to get? What do I want to get? And I'm like, this, that, whatever. And I saw grape soda, and I'm like, not sure about it. But ultimately, decided, I guess I'll go with it. And I went with it. So here I am with grape soda and a cast to do. So right now, Toilerly and Shieldsy are leading Nank and Slayer. And we're about to have a showdown on Desert Showdown. Oh yeah. So in terms of heroes at the moment, we can see that Toilerly is shifted over to Tech Marine, and really that's about I think that's about the extent of the changes we've seen here as far as who's playing what. I think everyone else looks like they are what they were last round, or the last match. I mean, not last round. Shieldsy last round was Eldar. So, and by the way, very nice thing. If I'm seeing properly here in the open season chat, looks like may actually have a game lined up immediately, a round lined up immediately after this one too. So. May have more casting to do, but without the wait this time, which is always better. Right, so we're just waiting for Toilerly here, who, like I said, is Tech Marine this time around on Desert Showdown. That could be brutal. About as brutal as, maybe probably a little more. I think more of my history of Desert Showdown, came in Chaos Rising. I think by the time Retribution came out, I was personally sick of the map. I know a lot of players like it. It's not my favorite one. I mean, I'm trying to do the color and the play-by-play for you guys here, so you'll get some of the personal preference and some of the neutral stuff on that front. Though, Desert Showdown's an interesting map because it has sort of a double lane structure on each side, where you've got, in fact, it's even split further. It's very choke pointy on the far left and the far right. And then it opens up into the middle, which is still choke pointy, but a little more open. But it's still side divided, pretty much. And it's interesting in some ways and annoying in others. And there have been things on it over the years that have made orc players go crazy at times. But anyway, so top left we've got Toilet spawning in here with his Tech Marine. The top we've got Shilzy, and in the bottom, or my bad, the right side I should say, Slayer, and the bottom we've got Nenko, and whatever this lag is, whoever it's coming from, wherever it's coming from, it's not me! All I can really say is that it's still here, and actually even a little worse it looks like. But it's saying it's coming from Toilet, but Toilet wasn't lagging this bad last game, so I don't know what's up. Maybe he decided to jack into a couple things since then, but I'm not really sure. I don't think anyone's really sure. Or stuff could just be happening with the tubes. So it is blame it on Toilet, but this is a P2P game, so we'll see what's up. Interestingly, we see how Heretics actually go down to capture this requisition point from Slayer there, and now they're going back to base. And actually, that seems to be either some kind of misclick or something. Typically, when you see that happen, it will be someone tried to shift click, and they'll shift click right next to the point, or the point actually won't get shift clicked properly, or there will be some kind of bug that kicks in, or any number of things that are all valid. But the end result ends up being that the point does not get captured as you would like it to be. So, in other news, we have Triple Guardian coming out from Nank. And this is going up against the Tech Marine Space Marine. I'm not sure how well it's going to work because it is pretty dangerous, I want to say, when you're going up against a hero who's very effective in range and can tank the Guardian fire pretty decently once he gets Artificers. So this could be dangerous for Nank. And already he's getting his power node hit on a bit by this Tech Marine. Not too much though. He's looking. It looks like he's trying to get map control, and now it looks like he's grouping up some Guardians, maybe making a push or something. And in the meantime, his Farseer is coming down on the top Space Marines. That could actually be very nice and useful here. Now, Fleet of Footing into combat is a little bit interesting there because it is decreasing the Farseer's damage, and I'm not really convinced she needed a Fleet of Foot there. Might have been better reserved to get out of this, but nonetheless able to wait until using Guide there. But again, all that might have been a little bit more effective without that initial Fleet of Foot in. Just feeling that was maybe a little trigger happy there. Sorry about that. Especially for a unit that really is his only melee here and his only way to get the Tech Marine and all this other stuff to kind of open up. That said, though, Tech Marine taking a lot of damage here because he is getting flanked by these Guardians. But quite a few Guardians here not firing. And that is really cutting off the damage that is getting pushed into that. So, meanwhile, we got Chaos Mirror basically going on up top. Chaos Lord Mirror at that. So, very mirrory mirror. And we are seeing that it's just kind of no one's really engaging too much right now. Although we are seeing that Shilzy is being content to pick off some Heretics here who are now Grenade Launcher Heretics, and it looks like the barrage will barely miss there, and unfortunately actually keeping his own Heretics at bay there, or my bad, Chaos Space Marines to get it, which would otherwise be able to get up on those Chaos Space Marines of Shilzy's to go ahead and get some hits and everything else. Meanwhile, let's see Shilzy's Heretics trying to come in, get some hits in on these Grenade Launcher Heretics, and likewise here, these Chaos Space Marines in melee with this Chaos Lord to kill the weakest coming out, and it gets them all right there. And this is actually just turning in brutal here. We got the Heretics coming in right from behind on the Chaos Space Marines. And looks like we might see at least a model loss here. There goes one. Looks like we won't see more, but just a Chaos Lord now. He is all really that sits there between the two. And now we're seeing Khorne Warship and these Noise Marines who really aren't going to be a ton of... going to be incredibly useful on this Chaos Lord, but... just as an addition to that force there would be very effective. And really what they're going to be useful for here is the fact that we see these Grenade Launcher Heretics as opposed to Aspiring Champion or anything like that. So Basically everything that is on the field for Slayer except for that Chaos Lord is all range. So those Noise Marines will be very effective, just not against the Chaos Lord, of course. Nonetheless, though, we see this Farseer trade that kind of just waltz right up here, and did not really succeed there because of these scouts, and that they did take a model loss, but these Guardians are taking, they're going to take plenty enough that they'll pay for that model loss easily. These Tactical Space Marines and the Tech Marine on here all just kind of sitting there, nice and pretty, just doing what they need to do to bring this node down, and we've got Noise Marines coming in from Shalesy, and this is how you cooperate in 2v2.